I've tried a lot of investing apps in my day to become an investing mogul. From stock trading apps like Robinhood, WeBull, Public, to music investing apps, which I won't even mention the names because they're a little more scammy, to crypto apps like Coinbase or Binance, and even saving apps like Betterment or Yada, and I've talked about some of these on this channel. And now I thought, why not try a real estate investing app, even though I told myself I would never try one of those. Not only can it be quite risky and a little bit speculative, but there's also a crap ton of options. Like if you go to the App Store right now, you can just scroll through a ton of different apps that they have just for real estate investing. And if you want me to cover some of those in future videos, I'd be more than happy to. The reason why I like the idea of Landa is the fact that it allows you to buy shares of real estate properties that you can hand select, which makes it seem a little bit better than a REIT. Now, if you're unfamiliar with REITs, don't worry. It simply stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. And what a REIT does is pool together a bunch of funds into one big portfolio. And they use that to buy a bunch of different real estate properties, both commercial or residential, and then as they appreciate in value or they collect rents, they pay you out as the investor, which sounds pretty nice, right? Well, Landa is exactly like that, except you get to pick the actual investments that end up in your portfolio. There are, of course, downsides to this as well, which we'll get to in a minute. But overall, you can buy shares in properties just like you do a stock, which is a pretty cool concept if you think about it. The reason why I was drawn to it is because it was a really cheap alternative to getting into real estate. And I've been using this app for a few months now, and I thought I'm qualified to give you some of the feedback, both from a user perspective and also if you wanted to invest in something like this as well. And don't worry, this is not sponsored, so I will give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. But before I do, make sure to please smash the like button because it really does help out the YouTube algorithm and helps me as a small creator make more great pieces of content like this for you guys. The like button is free to use, so please smash it. And if you end up going with Landa, make sure to stay till the end of the video because I have a free link in there that will give you a free share on Landa. So let's break down Landa, how it works, how it should work, and some of the features within it. First and foremost, I want to cover some of the downsides, aka the cons of Landa. And no, this video is not sponsored by Landa in any way. So what were the first initial obvious downsides? So first, the app is just clunky and slow, but it does look good. When I go to click on an actual property, it takes a little while to load. And as a comparison, any other broker I use for stocks is actually really quick when it comes to loading this information. And it's not like this app has a lot to load. I think at the end of the day, it's just poor programming. Now, the other thing I notice is that sometimes when I place buy trades, they won't even get confirmed until a few days later. And I've even had it where I'll go and check on the property that I thought I bought. This is like 8 or 9 days after, and I don't own any of the property. But it's really unfortunate to see how it functions. So definitely a downside on the processing end, but it doesn't happen very often, but I do hope that it gets fixed soon. Lastly, this is my biggest pet peeve, is the fact that I can't actually sell a property unless all of the shares of the property have already been purchased. Now, the other downsides are somewhat minimal, but it is important to note that some of the share prices aren't necessarily accurate and can be quite volatile. That can be pretty confusing for a new user. I mean, in an ideal world, you would think that this property would be based off of demand or the actual property valuation, but because this is real estate, it's not like an appraiser is coming to knock at every property's door every month or even every day and valuing the properties regularly. And the last downside before we go to the pros is the fact that Landa is not a REIT. And I wish they were considered a REIT, so maybe some more government scrutiny would be good for the company. And the reason why I say that is because REITs require a certain amount of percentage paid out to their investors on a regular basis. And because Landa is not a REIT, they don't have to abide by those same rules, and thus resulting in smaller returns for us as investors. So all in all, REITs are actually kind of better than Landa unless you become super good at hand selecting properties.
I see what you did.
And those are some of the cons. But here are the pros. Landa allows pretty much anyone to invest into fractional shares of real estate, and at the same time allows us to get passive income through those investments. The actual concept would probably get about 4 stars from me, but because it's an unsecured investment, I have to knock it down to about 3.5 stars. It is a very sleek looking app, so the design elements are nice, and if the responsiveness was a little bit faster, I'd probably give it 5 stars. The functionality and design are great, but because it's so slow and unresponsive at times, I can't give it above a 3. It is FDIC insured, absurd, but again, if you read the fine print, it's a little bit iffy. But what I do like is that it gives you a lot of data, including pictures on every single property. It gives you a bunch of details about the property offerings and documents that you can actually sift through, like rental agreements, for example. Now, you might still be wondering, what does their actual agreement looks like with their users? And after reading through this agreement, it is a little bit sketchy, but with a new app like this, it is written to protect the company. And since they're a very new concept, there's not a lot of companies like them. It means they have to tread a little bit lightly with their investors by protecting themselves first, so that way they don't go out of business in the coming years. Now, with all that being said, if you still want to try them out, here are some of my biggest tips to help you get started in the right way. First, I would use a referral code, and I have one that I'll link down in the comments or in the description that will allow you to get one free share of a property. Second, you should know the risk, and by watching this video, you kind of know most of the risks involved. And as with any investment, don't ever invest what you can't afford to lose. Personally, I started small and put away about $50 a week, and I like to do small investments like that into any new investment vehicle. One, to try it out, and two, so that way if at some point they do fail, I didn't take a huge loss. Of course, I'll make sure to keep you guys up to date with how my portfolio goes. Maybe I'll make an update video in about a year or two, just to give you guys a good idea of how it has been over a longer period of time. And of course, do your research on every property. Look at the comps, number of renters, look at the pictures, and personally, I don't invest into any property unless I can see the inside and the outside of the property on the listing. And an extra bonus tip for you, take a look at the maintenance requests and see how often they occur. Because if a property looks bad and it has just a giant stack of maintenance requests back to back, those are big red flags for you as an investor. And lastly, in terms of profits, it is unfortunately less with Landa than just traditional REITs, but it is definitely more fun to be able to see the actual properties that you're invested in and to be selective with the properties that you do manage. And the long-term potential for this company could be pretty big, and it's kind of cool to be a part of this club while it's still small. And to be honest with you guys, I'll continue to buy and use Landa for quite some time, but if you do have more money, just invest in REITs. Not only because they're more protected, but also you get more returns at the end of the day. But I'm curious to hear from you. Do you like this concept? Are there any other apps that you've tried that you like as well? And let me know if there's other apps that you want me to review in the investing space. Look forward to chatting with you guys down in the comment section below. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And YouTube thinks that you'll also enjoy this video here. See you guys there. Peace out.